learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So Carolyn doesn't come on camera. I said this in a video just the other day. You know, she's got some social anxiety and getting on camera is very difficult for her. So when I started the YouTube channel, I asked Carolyn if I could start a YouTube channel. She said, oh yeah, that'd be great. Of course, she didn't want to be on camera, which was fine. I mean, I had no problem with that. Of course, she is still a big part of my life, and so I do talk about her regularly. I mean, I don't know how to make a video without saying we or us, or it would happen by accident. Even if I didn't discuss her, it would just happen. That, of course, brings up a lot of criticism from folks about how I treat Carolyn. And well, recently, I have gotten a slew of criticism that I mistreat Carolyn. These are actually some long-time subscribers that have commented for a long time, saying how horrible it is that I treat Carolyn the way I treat her, which I find funny because she's not on camera. I mean, there's nothing that you can visually see that she's being mistreated. But what I suspect is, and I can't find it, is someone has made a YouTube channel suggesting that I have mistreated Carolyn. Like always, when somebody makes a YouTube video, there's mob mentality. They all come in and attack and then unsubscribe because I'm such a horrible person. But what they're saying is that I forced her into the nomadic lifestyle, and then when I got tired of the nomadic lifestyle, I forced her to live off-grid, and that I should be like any respectable man and get her a house with a full-size kitchen and, you know, all the normal stuff. If you don't do it the way everybody else is doing it, then of course you're a terrible husband and whatever else they want to call you. First of all, if Carolyn wanted to do something else, we would be doing something else. I got to explain. Carolyn and I worked for the same organization. She was a supervisor and I was a manager. We both quit the organization at the same time. And then she suggested that we start traveling the country when we quit. We had enough money saved up. We were debt-free. So why not just enjoy ourselves for a while? So I was actually very reluctant to travel the country. I didn't want to do it at first. But she showed me a lot of different videos and talked about how we were going to do things. And eventually she talked me into it. She started getting tired of the nomadic lifestyle before I did, believe it or not. There was just a lot of stress for her. Over the course of 2 or 3 months, we discussed our options. We actually discussed buying a minibus and upgrading from our little truck camper into a minibus. Maybe we were thinking that would be better. But as we were discussing the minibus, she said, why don't we just buy a piece of property, live off grid? We can still do somewhat what we're doing as a nomad, but we can live off grid. On our own piece of property, we wouldn't have to worry about moving around or people stopping by. She immediately started looking for property and found this place. Of course, she found several others, and we came back to Missouri. Now, one of the things I said when we were looking for properties, I don't want to come back to Missouri in the wintertime. That would have been the third winter that we would have had to come back. Well, the third winter, I wanted to stay down in Texas. We had free electric, free water at these little city parks that circle around Lubbock, Texas. So I said, okay, yeah, we can do that. We'll come back in April and we'll start looking for property. Well, of course, she got really excited and she started looking for property. Well, she found a piece and it was a really good deal. So we came back in January. So even though I said I didn't want to come back in the wintertime, we were in Missouri in the wintertime. We ended up staying the entire rest of the winter. So again, Carolyn's decision. I kind of just, you know, okay, that's what you want, that's what we'll do. But I wanted to take you around the property and kind of show you what's Carolyn's, and maybe you'll quickly realize that I really do respect Carolyn. So one of the complaints that I received was the clothesline. They thought she needed a better clothesline than something down here in the woods that she's got to crawl around the ticks and the snakes and everything. The reason the clothesline is here is when we first got here, she hung the line. And I said, you know what, I'm going to get you a clothesline. We'll hang it up in the yard so it's out here in the sun. She said, no, let's just leave it here for now, temporary, because when we move up to the tiny house, then we could put something a little bit more substantial, a real clothesline out. Right now, all she's got to do is walk across from the camper to the clothesline. If we'd hung a clothesline permanently, we'd have put it up to tiny house, and she'd have been having to walk up the hill way up here anytime she did laundry. Now this is Carolyn's little garden. One of the problems we had setting up the garden was we got started so late because we had so much to do when we got to the new property. It took us time to buy seeds. Of course, we're in a pandemic. That's why it's so small. She's got some tomatoes here and some green beans over here, cucumbers and squash, I think. Funny story though, one of the tomatoes here got dug up. We replanted it, but inside the hole was these little gumball machine rings. There's 2 of them. So that makes you think that maybe a human did it. But you know, this was in the middle of the night. One day the tomato plants were fine, the next day they weren't. Could have an animal dug this up, and what's the odds that it would have been underneath this tomato plant? It was just very strange. But anyway, she really enjoys her garden. And we've taken a lot of time trying to get this right. We throw our coffee grounds on here. I read that coffee grounds are really good for the soil, so we've been throwing it in there. And so hopefully we'll have some fresh tomatoes and green beans and cucumbers. But she's really enjoyed this project. She dug this herself. She didn't want any help with this. It was all hers. So last year we were in Utah in the summertime, desert heat. It got up into the hundreds. It was in August actually. It was pretty hot. But we decided we were going to suffer through the heat until we could get down into the Coconino National Forest, which was much cooler. But I kept asking Carolyn, do you want us to get an air conditioner? Because we had been able to run it off the generator. The problem with buying an air conditioner is the weight. They're heavy. And with us only having a 4-cylinder truck as a Nomad, it just wasn't reasonable that we were going to be able to cart this thing around. So essentially, we would have bought it and then had to throw it away or take it to a used store someplace because we just wouldn't be able to cart it around once we got to the Coconino National Forest. And it was so late in the year, it almost seemed ridiculous. And she kept saying, no, no, no. Well, when we got here, one of the first items we bought a little push mower and this air conditioner. It was still April, I think. And we had a hot day, got up into, I don't know, maybe 80 degrees. And we got that installed right away. I want to make sure that she doesn't have to go through that kind of heat again. Now we can run this 5,000 BTU air conditioner off solar panels during the hottest part of the day. So right now I could actually start it up. It's nice and sunny. The batteries are fully charged. I got the solar panels in a spot now where the batteries can be charged up by 9 o'clock. So by 10 o'clock, we could have the air conditioner on. Of course, she doesn't run it. She acts like she's wasting electric still. So I got to get her out of the mindset that it's free electric. And then about 3 o'clock, she starts cooking. So around 3 or 4 o'clock, I switch the air conditioner over to the generator. That gives the batteries a chance to recharge so we can get through the night and still be able to run the fridge. But I did that because of her, how bad she had to suffer through last summer. I didn't want her to have to endure that again. Now, one of the things I do feel bad about is her wash machine. She does laundry, I would say, every other day, just to stay on top of it. And I always ask her, you want me to do the laundry? Because I feel so bad that she has to do the laundry. Now, with the laundry, she's got this plunger that she uses. You just put the laundry right into the bucket, put your soap and water into the bucket, and then you just start plunging away with the clothes. It works really well. The tub was a recent invention that she came up with. The tub is for blankets. So yesterday she came up here to wash a blanket in this tub. It worked out really well. Here's her soap. Now, this tub is movable. We'll probably put it in the shade at some point. I've repeatedly asked her, do you want a wash machine? And she always says no. No, not until we get to the tiny house. Got to have a tiny house first. So she seems very content with this. I think she actually likes the exercise with it. Now, this is our floor that I've built so far for the tiny house that we're going to build. It's 200 square feet. It's 16 feet long by 12 feet wide. So if you do the math, 16 times 12 comes up just under 200 square feet. We are building it on a trailer frame. The trailer frame was a mobile home trailer that we demolished, and we're going to build a tiny house on a section of it. This section here will be for the porch. This is where Carolyn's stove will go. She actually wants the stove outside. Then we'll have a little sink right inside the door, so when you go in, you can do the dishes, come out and cook. I even said many times, Carolyn, you got to remember it's going to be wintertime. I know. When we came and looked at this property, I thought, my goodness, how are we going to get rid of that trailer? Because we're going to have to demolish it. I'm sitting there thinking out loud to myself. I walked down the hill and came back up, and she says, we don't have to get rid of it. We'll just build a tiny house. And this is her idea. This is 100% her idea. She's very content with it. She likes living in the camper. Look, she doesn't have to clean anything. And like dishes, for example. You know, I always ask her, you want me to do dishes? Nope. And she does dishes. It forces her, having such a tiny space, to immediately do the chore. That way it doesn't get out of hand, and then you're spending all day doing something like laundry. You know, if you do laundry, as soon as you get done taking a shower, it takes a half hour. Whereas if you have to do a week's worth of laundry, it takes all day, even with the machine. I recognize that the lifestyle doesn't seem normal, but I do believe Carolyn is very happy, and the minute she isn't happy, we change directions. We always go a different direction. I hope I can inspire you to make your spouse happy. Thanks for watching.